So if you've been watching my channel lately, you know I love making Bowie knives. Just the blade shape, just big, large. I mean, they could be a weapon, they could be a chopping tool, whatever you need it to be, essentially, which that's what they're made for. So I decided to kind of give it like a cutlass type guard. I know they had like D-guard Bowies before, common in the American Civil War. This isn't really based on those. I have made those in the past. I do kind of like the design. This is not it though. This is very much like naval cutlass, guard, and a Bowie knife type blade. I wanted something that looked like, you know, if a pirate were to have a Bowie knife, which I suppose could have happened. Not the pirates we're usually thinking of, because they came quite a bit before the Bowie knife. But I'm sure there are pirates that carry Bowie knives. So it kind of has this, like, you know, sort of D-guard, kind of like hook up the edge. Doesn't quite go all the way, so you really can't punch with it. I mean, you could if you wanted. I personally wouldn't. But it's got a nice shape, and it's got a decent balance to it, and it feels good in hand. Just because, you know, it's got that nice beefy blade to it. Not the biggest Bowie knife blade, of course. I want something a little smaller. I mean, it's still a big knife, but smaller than what I usually make for Bowie knives. So, yeah, anyway, it's fun to use. It's just kind of a nifty little project. Kind of a remake. I did one a while ago that didn't turn out quite like this one. This one's 10 times better, of course. You know, improvements in technique and all that. So, anyway, I hope you enjoy, and I hope to see you next time. Okay, got the rough forging done. I already ground out a bit, just most getting the tang to work, and of course sanding that flat so I can kind of line everything else up. This is gonna take a little bit of grinding to actually get the way I want it to, but that's all right. Point's about right. Again, grind it more pointier because then that's not gonna thrust into anything. Then of course, once that's done, gonna sand it down, get the bevels nice and, you know, straight and be able to cut things like a knife's supposed to. Then I'm gonna have to make the guard. Got a piece of steel here, and you know, of course, as you saw in the title, kind of a cutlass type guard is gonna be the point. You know, kind of a Bowie cutlass design, of course. I've done it before, but I'm gonna do this one a little better than I did last time. But the guard's gonna be very similar. And of course, once that's done, I'm gonna heat treated, and of course get a handle on.
Actually, I'm gonna have to do the handle before I heat treat. I have to burn that into place. Ground out, good enough for now. I went ahead and drilled a couple holes in this piece of steel. It's going to be my guard. I'm going to, of course, cut them out with the angle grinder, make it fit through basically whatever means necessary. And with this, I'm going to, of course, trim out the edges a little bit, cut that, and then kind of dome this out a little somehow. And, of course, have it fitted on there, give it kind of the cutlass look. And then, of course, have it folded down over the guard. And then, you know, get that thing heat treated. So I forgot to film some parts, and I apologize for that. But I took that piece I was forging, just kind of hooked it. I kind of cut a little thing in the bottom, nothing too extravagant, but just made it look, you know, not plain. So if you're gonna take the time, you know, take the time. Crap, that does not want to focus. Okay, now all I have to do is basically like, oh, I also drilled a hole, put a brass pin in. I do that with most of my videos, honestly. Like if you watched a lot of my videos, I kind of do a similar technique for them. But all I'm gonna do is I'm going to shape this handle. Usually I would have shaped it a little bit more before I put the guard on, but unfortunately due to time constraints, that didn't happen. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to file, sand, grind, do whatever I need to do to get this to the shape I want, and then just finish up the blade, give it a nice stain, all that. You know, typical woodworking, not just make a plain wood because that's boring. I also, you can't really tell, but it didn't go on quite as straight as I wanted it to. It's still fine, like still gonna be a decent knife, but not as straight as I wanted. It happens sometimes, especially when burning the tang. That's usually why I don't do that technique. But sometimes, you know, you gotta use what you gotta use. So I'm going to get this handle made and get the hand things out so I can start playing with this. Because honestly, this thing looks like a lot of fun.